One-page rules, bringing tabletop wargaming back to the table. If you have been in the tabletop wargaming hobby long enough, you recognize the pattern. A new edition releases. You buy the core book, then the faction book, then the updated faction book, then the FAQ, then the balance update that modifies the FAQ. At some point you realize you are studying documents more than maneuvering miniatures. That frustration is precisely where One-Page Rules distinguishes itself. One-Page Rules is an independent publisher focused on streamlined, coherent rule sets for fantasy and science fiction wargaming. Their flagship systems, such as Grimdark Future and Age of Fantasy, are engineered around clarity and accessibility. The design philosophy is unapologetically minimalist, core mechanics are simple, army sheets are concise, and the cognitive load remains centered on battlefield decisions rather than layered special rule interactions. The most immediate strength of the system is that it respects your time. Modern mass-market wargames often accumulate procedural overhead. Subsystems stack onto stratagem systems, command resource economies, and faction-specific exception clauses. The result can feel like legal interpretation rather than tactical play. One-page rules pares this down to essentials. Movement, positioning, line of sight, morale, and probability once again take priority. The friction of cross-referencing multiple books during a match is largely eliminated. For hobbyists with limited free time, that efficiency is not merely convenient. It is decisive. The rule set also lowers the barrier to entry in a way that directly benefits local gaming communities. A new player can download the core rules, assemble a force using miniatures they already own, or can proxy, and begin playing without a substantial financial commitment. When you are trying to grow a gaming circle, whether in Machida, Shinyurigaoka, Yokohama, or anywhere else, the ability to say, "You can start tonight," is powerful. Recruitment becomes easier when the game is teachable in a single session and does not require a multi-book investment. Another significant advantage lies in its miniature agnostic design. While companies like Games Workshop produce outstanding models, their rules ecosystems are tightly integrated with proprietary releases and ongoing product cycles. One-page rules takes a different approach. It allows players to use legacy collections, third-party sculpts, kit-bashed conversions, and 3D printed figures without friction. This flexibility reduces financial pressure and restores creative autonomy. The hobby becomes about painting, modeling, and tactical play, rather than compliance with a release schedule. The tactical experience itself is notably clean. Because special rules are restrained, the battlefield state is easier to parse. Outcomes feel attributable to positioning and risk assessment rather than obscure rule synergies. For players who appreciate classic hex and counter war games or streamlined modern systems, this produces a satisfying sense of procedural discipline. The game state remains legible. Decisions feel intentional. Victory or defeat rarely hinges on an overlooked paragraph buried deep in a codex. Scalability is another quiet strength. One-page rules supports both large-scale battles and smaller skirmish engagements within a unified mechanical framework. Groups can begin with compact forces and expand organically as interest grows. This incremental growth pattern is particularly valuable when introducing students, busy professionals, or board gamers who are curious about miniatures but hesitant about complexity. No rule set is universally perfect. Players who enjoy intricate faction asymmetry or evolving tournament metas may find the system restrained. The deliberate avoidance of excessive granularity means that the game emphasizes elegance over density. Yet that restraint is precisely what many hobbyists find refreshing. It reduces burnout and encourages actual play. When viewed strategically, the value of one-page rules becomes clear. A sustainable tabletop ecosystem requires rules that are teachable, stable, and financially accessible. It requires a structure that rewards tactical thinking without overwhelming participants with administrative detail. One-page rules offers that structure. Tabletop wargaming is ultimately about people gathered around a table, testing ideas against one another through painted armies and shared imagination. When the rules support that experience rather than overshadow it, the hobby thrives. In that sense, one-page rules does not attempt to dominate the landscape, it strengthens it.